What's going on, you guys? This is your boy TOSKinger here. Guys, we're back with another video. Today we are going to be reacting to a video by Jubilee. It's called Are Men Superior to Women? Alphas versus Betas. Now, the reason why I saw this video and I wanted to react to it was because I saw a guy on here and his name is Jay Waller, and I really do like this guy a lot. He's a self-made millionaire and he's frankly a G. So let's watch this video. Let's see what you guys think.
Men should be the stable ones. Men don't need to be crying in front of women. And
Agreed.
Ideally, they're not splitting chores. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, but I think that if a woman cannot look up to you in some way, then she cannot respect you. And if she cannot respect you, she cannot love you.
It's true.
I totally disagree. I totally agree. Totally disagree.
This is going to be interesting. I like this a lot. Whoa.
Step forward if you agree with the prompt. Men are designed to want to sleep with multiple women.
Yeah, forward, step forward, step forward, step forward, step forward. Interesting. Now, I wonder if they did that because he just went up there and immediately agreed.
I definitely agree that men, want to sleep with multiple women. I think it's natural because one of the things is because we have so much sperm and that we produce so much sperm, and that makes us want to repopulate the earth, basically.
That's not the
reason.
reason.
So a lot of times what happens is I think that society is telling men not to do that for whatever reason, you know what I mean? And some guys fall into that, but I definitely believe that, men actually want to be with multiple women because it's just a natural thing in us. This is why you hear all the time, men always cheating and guys feel like they, trying to hide the cheating and everything like that. And if it was natural for them to just want to be with that one woman.
Okay. Too long, way too long of an explanation. Let me tell you why. Men have a desire to sleep with multiple women because one, that is genetically what we are programmed to do. I think there was a scene from the movie Lucy, okay? And it was Morgan Freeman, and he was talking about you either have an immortal cell or a cell that lives in an optimal environment that wants to procreate because, if you're not gonna live in an optimal situation, you're gonna wanna live as long as possible until you find an optimal situation, right? So the reason why people do want to sleep with multiple women is, yes, the sense to repopulate, but also it's genetically wired and programmed into us to, yes, repopulate. And it's just it's a masculine essence. It's just all it is.
Cheating wouldn't even be an issue. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, I think for the way we were cultured, I agree with that, but also to just through human history, right, for survival, maybe this is old school thinking, but it's just like for survival, you need to have lots of kids. So if someone's pregnant,
yeah,
how do you keep multiplying? You just more women, right? Not saying it's right or wrong, but it's just kind of the way. I think women even cheat too. It's like 50-50.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think
women cheat more than men.
Want to do their thing, you know what I'm saying, in some situations, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's just men. I think it's a natural, I feel like because that desire is there.
That suit is very blue.
It's a natural thing for, if we're talking specifically men, that desire to want to do it is natural in us. So then therefore you're going to want to do it. So I don't think it's a natural thing to just be with this one woman. But at the same time, when I'm with this one woman, I only want to stay with her. It's almost like I'm lying to myself if I just want to be with her. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. But the question is...
No. Come on. Listen, you are fully capable of being with one woman, but you have to understand that being with one woman does not mean that she has real estate over you or can claim you in any way. You need to, if you want to sleep with other women, you have to let your women know that, hey, I love you. I'm here for you, right? I'm always going to be there for you, no matter what it is, what you need. But I do like other women. You just need to be upfront about that. Right? There can't be any surprises because that's when she starts to think that you're going to cheat on her. And I think that this is where the word cheat is muddied. I believe that if a man cheats emotionally, that's cheating because you're going to a woman and, you are experiencing some sort of emotional attachment to that woman and it's taking over from the emotional attachment you have with your woman that you dedicated yourself to. I think that it's not cheating if, let's say, a man were to go, do his thing, sleep around, and, come back into the fold and be like, hey, baby, I missed you. I think that's the case. Am I delusional? I don't think so.
Is that the end point? Is being with multiple women the end point? I'm of the firm belief that it is important to position yourself as a man to have the capacity to be with as many women as you possibly can and position yourself in a way where you understand female nature and you maximize your potential as a man. And that's where I don't necessarily agree that just because there's a deeper desire to continue to do it means it's going to be the most optimal thing for you and your own ability to thrive at the highest level and connect with God here on earth.
I was taught not to be with multiple women, right? But it's like, especially, I mean, here's the thing, especially when you're in a relationship, right? It's like, it's better to grow together with somebody than multiple people, which I totally agree. But I think in the dating terms, it's like, there's nothing wrong with being multiple women.
It's weird. They're like
because
retracting
I think
on what they were
that's just
saying.
Dating, it's experimenting, it's finding other people. But are we naturally made to just always be with one person? It's like, if that were true, then these first thoughts of being with another woman, even though I'm in a committed relationship, would never occur. But it comes up once in a while. But it doesn't mean I'm acting upon it. So
So what are you
Or
talking
being
about?
generous about saying once in a while probably comes up quite a bit.
Yeah, probably
It
often.
depends what kind of relationship you're in, I guess, or how good of a day it is, right? Like,
Nah, bro,
but I
come
would
on.
say for me, if it was totally natural, even though I was nurtured into only being with one woman, that these thoughts wouldn't
Jay's
occur
looking at
then.
him like, are you
Right.
insane?
And the thing with me,
This is so stupid. Stop retracting on what you're saying. These men came out here with a very specific idea in mind. But now as they talk more and more about it, they start to retract on the things they were saying. Let me be very real with you. By fully admitting that you have the desire to sleep with other women does not mean that you have a desire to cheat on your woman. And that's where I go back to what I was saying before. If you are committed to a woman, it doesn't mean you need to be sexually committed to a woman. I believe that the thought and intent behind being with the woman that you want to be with does not wholeheartedly mean that you have to commit yourself sexually to her. Only her. What do you guys think?
I'm non-monogamous, so I have a wife, I have a girlfriend, and I still, from time to time hook up with other girls. You know what I mean? And the thing is, it feels regular to me. It doesn't feel like I'm trying to do it or doing it because I'm forcing myself. It just feels just natural, like it's something I want to do. You know what I mean? And so to not do it feels unnatural. You might just want this one woman for a relationship. I can understand that, but sexually though, I think it's all BS.
Yeah, I agree. I think a man can absolutely be head over heels in love with a woman and still sleep with other women and
Absolutely.
not mean anything to him.
Right.
And I think all men have the proclivity to want to sleep with other women. Now, whether they're able to speak to that and actually act on that or not, or if they've been able to, like you said, like religiously find a way to work around it. And I think religion has been great for that, because if it weren't for religion, we probably would not have society. But I think what's most important to identify is that a man should create choice in his life. And if you have choice, you should be able to do as you wish, particularly like in your case, like in my case, if there's no deceit.
Exactly.
It's the line.
there you go.
That, in my opinion, is actually the overall problem when
Yeah.
when guys, tend to go outside of a relationship. They lie to the woman.
Yeah. So
That's the problem.
Okay. You need to set yourself up properly, okay? If you're going to be with one woman, or let's not say one woman, if you're going to be with your woman, all right, and you want her to understand that you have the intent to sleep with other women, this is where the little things come in. I've brought this up in previous videos. So I'll be out with my girl, and I'll be like, hey, babe, what do you think about that girl? She's pretty hot, right? Because I actually have a desire to bring another girl into my relationship. Not only for my purpose, but also for hers. I look at our relationship as like, oh, okay, this is something to build on. I kind of would rather have a community within my circle rather than having, one woman and then, sleeping around on the outside. Yeah, I'll do it. But at the same time, I would much rather be occupied with my woman and another woman we decide to bring into the fold. And you might say that's polygamy. And yeah, maybe it is. Who knows? But at the same time, you have to look at the pros. The pros would be, okay, rather than you going out with your single friends, you can go out with the girl that you and I agreed upon to have in our relationship. I think that's a cool thing, right? Keep it within the family. And not only that, you also have someone that can help you. Let's say if we had kids, help you with the kids, help you with the chores around the house. I can do my duty as a man and not be worried about you or how you're going to preoccupy your time. And there's also an accountability point of view as well. You have more than one woman in the house, right? And there's no secrets at all for anything. And we can also keep an eye on each other and make sure that we're all accountable for the things that we're doing. I think it's a good thing. I think that the more people need to consider that. And if you are a man out there, if you are a true man and you want this, you need to be upfront and honest from the beginning. No lies. I've learned that over time.
So when I was growing up, I was under the belief of just being with one woman, right? Like I was a virgin for a very long time. Then one girl broke my heart. So that caused like a lot of insecurity, resentment towards the other side, right? And then I just became like a man whore for a little bit.
The problem is you have guys who are monogamous, but they're monogamous because they're forced to be monogamous, in a way meaning that they have no choice because they don't have the skill to attract multiple women.
And a lot
No.
of times they'll use that as virtue signaling. I would never do such a thing. Well, actually, bro, you can't.
All right. Can I disagree
Interesting.
a step forward?
Interesting. Okay, I believe that there are a lot
I
of men that
remember
are
when I
like
would
that.
like go on tour and things like that.
Ew.
My friends would always try to encourage me to like hook up with girls. That
Hold
were
on,
onto
hold
me.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Look at that fucking crackhead. I'm sorry, like I had to stop, right? Because if I'm gonna be listening to this person's point of view and this person's attitude, it's gonna bother me a lot because there's nothing this person can teach me. You know what I mean? This person is wholeheartedly lost, and I would rather much listen to a man who knows what he wants rather than this monster. That was rude, but it's true.
But I wasn't really like into it, and
Look at Jay.
it made me feel like weird.
He's listening. He's being polite.
Like off, like there was something wrong with. And now I'm at a point in my life where I feel like I'm only having sex with multiple women, so I'm not weird. So I'm quote unquote normal. I feel like even when I do have sex with these random women, it doesn't give me any gratification. And I know that comes with like random sex in the end, but I know in the back of my mind that like I just like simply don't enjoy this. Like I've been with multiple women and I've been with one woman, and being with one woman is just so peaceful. As far as like telling young men that they're born this way and that they should feel this way, it can really not do damage, but just sort of make you second guess things about yourself. Am I normal? Am I weird? Is there something off about me? Everyone else around me is saying that I have to feel this way or I have to do these things, but yet I don't feel the courage to do those things.
I would say that's not true, though. I don't think that we should promote men sleep with multiple women. I think that we should promote choice and what feels right to you. So in your particular case, I would never tell you to sleep with multiple women. I think you might be doing the right thing to do exactly what you're doing and not do it.
That's
or
true.
stop doing it. It's not about pushing it on the young men, but I'll tell you, there's a lot of young men that have a demon inside and maybe are really upset and frustrated with themselves because they feel a certain way. And it's like, oh, I'm coming out the closet. I'm straight, you know, or super straight or too straight or whatever it is. I think that it's really going to be about choice, man. So if me to you, I tell you, if that you don't feel good doing that, man, I wouldn't do it at all.
Yeah, I agree. In your situation, what was
Hey, wow, what a fantastic point. Very well-spoken man. That's very true. That's the thing, right? Choice. Men need to have choice. Don't just think that because it's cool to do it this way or that way, right? Do your thing. I'm not a huge fan of promiscuous sex or like, you know, just throwing myself out there to any woman, right? Like I kind of... Apparently I'm a liar. Come tell them why I'm a liar. I'm not lying. I got to be into a chick, man. I really do. Like I really have to be into a chick. I do. Anyway, he thinks I'm fucking lying. I'm not lying. That's so true. What?
Takes you 20 minutes to get into somebody.
But there's got to be something, bro. That's my point. That's why I have a hard time actually finding someone I enjoy. Like,
You literally had big tits, you met her for 2 minutes, took a tequila shot, and twerked on you. That's it? That's all it needed?
no. That's
that's
not what it was.
crazy.
No, that's not what it was.
Crazy.
That's not what it was. Listen to me. Listen to me.
I'm not listening.
When I what an asshole. When I when I first laid, he's talking about this chick that was here the other night. So when I first laid my eyes on this chick, right, she was walking down the street and we looked at each other for a little bit too long, and there was that moment where it was like, oh, okay, I dig this chick. So she came over, we started talking a little bit, and I'm like, hey, you should come hang out and party with me and my friends. So Junior, fuck you, all right? You're a dickhead. I'm not lying. There's got to be something there, some sort of attraction level. It can't just be, oh yeah, I pick you, let's go.
One of many things. Tits, ass, a nice smile, can twerk, drinks tequila, and wants to fuck. Good to go. One of those 7 things, and it's okay.
You're missing the initial attraction point. We didn't start off like that. We started off with a look, some conversation, and then vamos.
It was her tits.
Yeah.
I know it was.
Yeah, her boobs were big, but look.
I know it was. I've seen them.
Do you want to be part of this video because you keep interjecting?
No, it's just college bullshit.
Okay, shut up. No, my point is honest, okay? I don't even remember what I was saying. Let's continue. Shit.
what's happening, and this is what I think a lot of times what happens is you have guys who will have sex with multiple women because they're trying to fill a void. So it shouldn't be about filling
No.
a void. It should be about you actually desiring. So you don't desire to do it, so which is why you shouldn't do it. But there are guys who desire to do it, but then they're suppressing their desire, and then it's doing the same thing as you not wanting to do it. Like they feel weird about not doing it, but they want to, whereas you felt weird doing it, but you didn't want to.
I think it's a society thing. Like what you just said, who's making them feel guilty about not doing it? Other men. The reason, I think women and men, the question was, do you feel that men are meant to sleep with multiple women?
Painted
Or they just,
fingernails.
you know, that's what they do. And I don't think that's true. I think it's a part of your character and who you are. I do believe that if you're going to be honest with your partner is into it, but do I believe that we are biologically meant and it's in our head because we have to procreate and this and that? I don't believe that. I believe the reason we do it a lot is because it's looked upon as a great thing for men to have multiple women. women are shamed for that. Shamed totally. I have one son and two daughters, and I know the difference of how I felt when they were 15 or in their 20s, now they were 15 versus him having multiple partners or my daughter.
So if I could struck a check for $1 million and never feel that feeling again, I absolutely would. I really, really would. It's something that I really hated myself for, and I felt very
Really?
I grew up in the South Louisiana. It was a Bible Belt. And I felt very distant from people around me because I had this urge in me and could not understand why I was so different. Like, the biggest self-hate I've ever felt in my life is over this particular subject. I thought I was broken.
And I understand you. And me, again, I'm going to come back with,
Hold on. Is that because a society problem? Is that because the community that you grew up in did not support you and your need to, let's say, sleep around and be with multiple women? That's interesting. And yeah, I understand. I think he said that he grew up in, South Louisiana or like the Bible Belt, right? I get it. But I'm trying to consider, I don't think I would ever be ashamed for the fact that I can't be monogamous. I tried it. I've done it. And I was wholeheartedly committed to trying and making it work. And I didn't cheat, but it was only a 3-month stint. And it wasn't my fault that it ended. It was actually the shorty that I was seeing or whatever. She was messaging her ex when she was with me, and I found out, and I just said, "Vamos, see you later." And I like 2 days later, or the next day and the day after that, I got with 2 chicks. It was good. It was fun. I enjoyed the time with those girls. But at the same time, right? Can I be truly monogamous to a woman? No. And I will be completely honest with that. And the women that I deal with, especially if they watch my videos, they know, and it doesn't even need to be spoken about, but they know.
Around it, and me, I'm bisexual. I've always have been. But like you heard me say, I've been married to a woman for 30 years, and I've been committed for 30 years. Doesn't that I don't have that desire. It's my character to say, this is my person, and that's who I want to be.
Imagine your dad admitting he's bisexual.
I was going to say,
then that goes back to, we just built that way. Because if we're just built that way as men, then there's multiple people that I'm going to want to sleep with.
But I think what I was under the impression with that question was, are we biologically DNA created for that? I say yes.
Okay,
but
I'm going to skip ahead because we've kind of made our point clear on this. Let's check out this part.
Submissive women are more attractive than dominating women.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Listen, my shirt says submissive women are sexy. Okay, so
Does it really?
It's true, man. It's true. And look, I think one of the most beautiful things about love is being able to fully take care of a woman in every way, whether that's emotionally, protecting, providing, everything about that. Like every fairy tale that was ever written for all of time was about a man saving a woman from a castle and a dragon, right? Or some sort of scenario like that. And I think that's absolutely beautiful. And I have nothing against women being empowered, but I do feel like the happiest women in the world are the ones that look up to a man and that he can fight every day to love her and love his kids and his family and provide and be that source of something to actually look up to. Like, I believe a woman can admire a man, and it's very, very, very healthy. Am I saying that somebody that doesn't do that is not a man? No, I would never. But ideally, the relationships that are going to work, the relationships in, let's say, the 30s, 40s, 50s, or whenever, we were having nuclear families stay together before we went off the gold standard and inflation pushed everybody to have 2 people have to have a job. Yeah, dude, I do. I think those relationships are much happier when the man could lead a house and be proud of going out and going to work every day and fighting for his family. Yeah, I do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think what we have to do is...
And you know what, too? It was way more comfortable back in the day, right? Like, you could have one man supporting an entire family, and the woman could stay at home, take care of the kids. And it was just a wholeheartedly honest living. It was good. Now, you have a lot of women that feel like they need to force that paradigm out the window. And it's like, why? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you want to be that way? Don't you want to just relax? Don't you want to just have your own issues remain within the household rather than dealing with the world? It's up to the man to do that shit. I think that's true.
to look at general female happiness, because that's really what I'm into. Like, I don't really care what guys think or what girls think. I think I have a unique perspective in that I've worked with a lot of high-performing women that operate in this dominant role, and I work with them for the purpose of helping them be able to reintegrate with that more submissive, connected, intuitive part of themselves that really is connected to their bodies, that if they were connected to their bodies wouldn't be as dominant, at least in the presence of men.
What does he do?
And with every woman that I've worked with, there is this deep, deep, deep desire, regardless of what she says externally, to submit to the leadership of a man that she knows can properly hold down the emotional space and really put her interest at the forefront.
Right, because when a woman is dominant over that man, she can't respect him. It's just impossible.
It's true.
Makes you feel safe.
Right, exactly. And the thing is with submission is like if you even look at the word submission, sub, under, a mission. If I have a mission and this woman is under my mission, meaning I'm leading her.
I like that.
Right, then that is a actual good relationship that's going to flourish.
Truly, deep down, every woman would love nothing more than to be more feminine in a role in a family and take on that either that motherly role or that nurturing role or the role that feels supportive to the overall mission of a man. It's just got to be a man worth getting behind, and weak men are the reason why this is a problem. Case in point, look at the workplace. You don't see women applying for jobs to be power line guys or hang steel at steel companies. They're not picketing outside of the United States Army being like, why won't you draft me? They don't want that smoke, bro. Like and that's okay.
Right.
And I can't say enough. It's like, as a man, like, you get to take pride in taking care of a woman.
Yeah.
Protecting women. What about your daughters, man? You want to protect and provide, care for them. That's okay. Let them be feminine. A strong man doesn't need you to be a man. He say, fine, you can be a woman. You're safe, sweetheart. You come with me. Right. That's it.
Yeah, that's fire. That's a good point. That's a good point. Hell yeah, man. That's true. More women need to believe that. More women need to think like that. And it's harder nowadays, right? Because, like I said, you have to be very well off in order to take care of your woman and the family, right? You need to be doing something a little different. You can't just have a 9 to 5 and just expect that to happen for you. I mean, you can do it. It's just going to be very taxing and very troublesome, very stressful. I do believe, though, that it is of every woman's desire to be truly cared for, right? And to be truly submissive to her man. And submissive is not a word that you women like to hear, and I don't know why, because it just allows you to shut your brain off. You just get to relax, man. You get to let the man figure out all the things, right? You get to eat comfortably. Your belly's full. You get laid. You don't really have to do much. But as soon as you start to stress us out, then it's a problem. But that's all you really got to do is just stress us out. You don't have to stress. You don't have to be stressed because of the world, but we'll deal with it. We got you. No worries.
There were just a few things that I disagree on. I think that in 2023 especially,
Dork.
I think women just want to be able to look to the side and see their partner as an equal. And I think a lot of women now I don't think they're trying to be men. I think what they're realizing is that the qualities that they were looking for in men, they've always had it within themselves. If women are submissive, it's mostly for, I want to say, like, the validation for the man. I think they know in the back of their heads, like, they know now that they can do things on their own. I don't think they necessarily need a man, but I think what they're looking for is that intimacy to have a partner.
Okay.
But I don't think that they require one.
Okay. Oh, no. You fucking dumbass. What an idiot. Come on, man. Really? You really believe that? Everything that they desire in a man, they have in themselves? That's a complete bullshit lie. It is completely bullshit. Yeah, they can be on their own by themselves, but they are going to end up resenting the fact that they wanted, that they are by themselves. They are going to want a man. It's programmed within a woman to desire a man. Lesbians aren't even lesbians. Take this in. Lesbians are not even lesbians. You want to know why? Because they use dildos shaped like dicks. Did I just say that? Yeah.
No, they do. Because, a lot of these girls, they usually go home and cry at night from being lonely, from not having a man. They have all these things.
Yeah, bro.
And then they're upset they don't have a man. You know what I mean? And I heard you say that, women want to be the man's equal, but you don't see, and maybe this could just be a societal thing, a societal pressure, but you don't see women doing things that could make them equal to the men. You don't see the women approaching the men. You don't see the women paying for the dates. You don't see the women being more assertive to the man. You see what I'm saying? So where's that at?
Because they got options. They got so much more options than men.
I'll tell you what you do see. You see a high level of women on antidepressants more than ever, right? And I think that's a bunch of women trying to cope with trying to be like a man when really, let me ask you a question. Are you more attracted to a woman that has a high-paying job or to a woman's beauty?
That doesn't matter to me.
It does matter. It does matter to me.
You could, but I would like to say a mother figure rather than a woman.
Absolutely not. But I would like to say that you're saying that women, have a higher, have antidepressants, but men, I'm a social worker, so men 1 out of 10 are more likely to
as a women's job,
but more likely to go undiagnosed and not seek therapy or help. So I do think, and women also, you have to consider the fluctuation in hormones.
Sorry, I have to stop this. He's a social worker. And if he has this idea in mind, he's not really helping people, especially men. He's not helping men, and he's definitely not helping women, because he is saying, he's social working, right? So he's probably saying to a woman like, you got this. You're just as good as a man is, right? You get that job. You be as aggressive as you need to be, right? And he's saying to the man like, oh, you should listen to the woman. What a fucking tool. Hey, look, guy. Get another job where you don't give anybody advice. Go do like I don't know. What could he do? Dive for minerals so nobody really has to see you or hear you? We kind of want to be sensory deprivated from you.
Pregnancy, because that can alter, their mental health. So
what a dumbass.
I think that's kind of a moot point, but I feel like, I'm not looking for a mother figure. I'm looking for an equal. So I feel like with, if we're saying that women, they're like going home crying, looking for men, I think it's also that societal pressure that tells you at the same time you have to have multiple women. They're telling the women you have to have that one man, that husband by a certain age, have kids by a certain age. There's more pressure on them than there
biological
is
time
men.
clock, bro.
And for, lack of a better term, I think men have gotten off a lot easier because women have so much pressure and they get judged more harshly than men do. If we're talking about back then when men used to go home, bring home the bacon or whatever, the domestic violence rate was pretty high during that time. And I'll also say that for people of color, we never really had the luxury of working one job. So my parents, their parents before them, everybody always had to work, man and woman. So there was always that equal opportunity for them to be able to see that they could do it together as opposed to put that one pressure. And I also would like to ask, if you guys find submissive women more attractive than dominant women, is that because it makes you feel more validated as a man, or is there something there that you feel like
it's
feeds
sexy
into your purpose as a man?
Fuck off. Shut up. Submissive women are feminine. It's beautiful. Submissive women are just beautiful. They're more feminine, right? Because at the end of the day, it is of the masculine essence to be dominant. And that's what the testosterone does to us. We've been burdened. Actually, it's fantastic, but we've been burdened with this testosterone. That's kind of why men search out to seek women. There is this violent chemical that streams through our bodies that comes from our ball sack, from our nuts. And it just makes us want things. It makes us extra. Look how hormonal I am. I'm just fucking like the testosterone, bro. It's fantastic. But that's what it is, right? Submissive women are just beautiful, feminine, sexy women. We just like that. There's no reason to have a woman coming to you saying, do this, do that, right? Being all aggressive. It's just like, hey, shut up. Go sit over there.
It's a balance. If I'm a dominant person, I need a submissive. If I meet a dominant woman, we're gonna butt heads.
Yeah.
What if that changes? Like, what if she grows? Because I would love everybody to be able to grow throughout life. What if she starts becoming more dominant? Is that like a...
No, it can't happen.
If she starts becoming more dominant in a relationship.
More dominant or equal to your dominant?
Oh, yeah, she's
happen.
gone. She's finished.
Yeah,
she's
it can't happen.
And see, that's my thing. Like, look, I got children. I don't need somebody else to take care of. And I love your thing about, the Prince Charming and everything. But you know what I need? I need a badass woman who can match my badass energy. I work with my wife, and I'm gonna tell you, I take care of her, she takes care of me, and she's badass. And that's what I'm attracted to. I don't need a submissive that I have someone to take care of. And then it's fine, if she goes through that, but then I'll be there, and I will take care of her. But I'm not looking for somebody, another child to take care of and have to dominate and tell, you go over there, this is where we're gonna go to dinner, this is where we're gonna do that.
Why not?
That's why what he was saying, I was gonna bring that fact up too.
Why not?
A lot of men are depressed because they put it on this shield of I have to be the leader, I have to do this. And you know who goes to get help first? Women.
Okay, that totally makes sense. I think if we're talking about men not ever dealing with their emotions, it makes sense for this argument that you guys are talking about. But I'm the firm believer, I have gotten a lot of therapy in my life. I've done a lot of things for myself personally to resolve my own internal conflict. Okay, so it's a job of alpha men. The real integrated alpha man has the capacity to understand what he's feeling, why he's feeling the way that he is, articulate in a way that is productive to the dynamic. So a real man is someone that understands himself deeper at an emotional level, has taken the time to do that so he can show up as a rock, not so he can show up more emotionally.
Problem is that if you're super emotional, when we talk about the whole thing of being submissive or dominant, your woman is going to dominate you because you're so emotional.
Emotionally unstable. Let's say that. It's let's stop using emotional. Let's start using emotionally unstable.
Since you're so emotionally unstable, she's going to dominate you, and then she's going to lose respect for you, and that's going to teeter the waters of the relationship.
So, I mean, you guys know dominatrix exists for.
All right, we're gonna skip that.
And
We're
by the
gonna
way, I
skip
used to
that.
personal train at dominatrix. You guys are their client.
I'm agreed.
I am great at sex.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk forward on that
Come
one.
on, man.
I mean, I have a lot to learn.
What a loser. This is weird. Do we need to talk about this?
Prove
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
right now.
Bro, this was a chance to redeem yourself.
No, I know, but it's just.
Actually, I'm gonna go back.
Really?
With my partner, my wife, I'm able to not only connect physically, but also emotionally. You know, and then I think that's the biggest trick I've learned. Not trick, but the thing I've learned about my years.
Okay, whatever. I don't need to.
You
This
have
is
to
not
so-
necessary.
Women should not be in position of power.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Interesting.
Game over. Just like his hand says.
I'm the
Interesting.
only one. I think a woman can be in a position of power only by herself, but not in relation to being in a relationship with a man. Because
Okay,
when
hold on.
she's in a
Hold on. I'm going to give my 2 cents on this before I hear anybody else. Do I think that women should be in positions of power? Yes, I do. But I believe that it's an assorted power. It needs to be given to her rather than obtained. If you have an incredibly dominant woman and she obtains power, she loves that power and she rules over you with emotion. I tend to find that. I'll give you an example. Okay. My job that I had, my first job when I went to university, right? I had other jobs before that, but when I went to university, I had this job and I was selling suits. Okay. I was the top salesman for suits at this company. I was doing very, very well. Made everyone look good. My bosses were women. Okay. So I had 2 supervisors. They were women. I had a store manager who was a woman, and the regional manager who was in charge of all the stores within Ontario was a woman. And they're all hot chicks. They're all hot chicks. But they put me in a position of authority without getting the dime. They didn't give me the money I deserved, right? So I had a problem with that. Oh my God. I could work these bitches under a table. Let me tell you that. I'll be very honest with you. The reason why they enjoyed their power so much was because they could delegate their responsibilities to me. And they would go, they would have their coffee, they would sit around, they would tell me what to do. I'd be like, whoa, hey, isn't that your job? And as soon as I start to talk to them like that, they'd lash out and they'd get angry, right? But it didn't do anything to me because I'm a fucking rock. They can't do shit to me. I went through a moment where I was said to them, hey, I'm going to quit. If I don't get the raise that I deserve in the next 2 months, I am going to quit. And I will not be afraid to leave on short notice. So you better understand that if I don't get my raise within 2 months, I am gone. They heard me. They were like, okay. 2 months comes. They say, oh, your work has fallen off. I'm like, goodbye. I left. I quit. But before I left and I quit, I fucked the 2 supervisors, the 2 hot chicks. I fucked both of them. And guess what? They were best friends. They're not best friends anymore. You should have given me a raise or I wouldn't have fucked your employees. And guess what? When I left, a year later, that store closed down because of the incompetence of the female staff going on their coffee breaks and shit. Sayonara. But that's my point. Do I think women should be in positions of power? Yes, but only if it's given to them from the point of a man. There you go. They need a handler.
relationship with a man, the man has to be the leader. The man has to be the one that's guiding the situation, directing the situation. If it's in any other situation by herself with work, with her friends or whatever, she can do whatever she wants to do.
Game over. Your game is over.
I tend to agree with him in a way.
I first want to ask, because there was a lot of like has to, have to's, but not really a reason behind it. Can I ask what's your reason behind why a man has to be in the power, in power? Why can't a woman be in power?
Power is such a weird word. I'll say more like the leadership role.
Matriarchies always fail.
And the thing is that a man has to lead a woman. He has to guide a woman, because what happens is that when it's the opposite, when a woman is leading that man, she usually loses respect for him.
We're going to skip ahead because we understand the point of view here.
A man can just be friends with an attractive woman.
Can?
Cat.
Just be
No
friends.
technicalities, bro.
No.
So I think it's all about, again, as we've been saying before, it's all about choices. I think if you find a woman attractive, it depends on, are you going to choose to pursue her or not? But for some of us,
We know our
for
point
speaking
of
from
view.
personal experience, I've met many attractive women, and that's not the only thing that, you know, I'm looking for. It's also about personality. So she can.
I can't listen to this guy talk. This guy is a fucking nerd. You know what, guys? I know I want to get everyone's point of view. It's hard, right? This is such a long video, but I'm going to cut and move forward on a lot of these things. If you guys want to watch the original video, it'll be down in the description. I mostly just wanted to see where I agree and where I disagree with people. And so far, I'm kind of seeing my players here, where I do agree, where I do disagree with people. So let's move ahead. Let's see what this one is. Ooh, this is a good one. Okay, we're going to listen to this one fully.
A man should not cry in front of his kids.
Yeah, I would agree with that one. It's a hard question, but I do agree. You should not cry in
It
front of your
ain't
kids.
popular. It's not gonna be popular to say this, but ideally, you're not gonna cry in front of your kids. They cry to you. Is it fair? No. Is life fair? No. Is the dynamic between a man, a woman, a child fair? No. But personally, for me, I want to take that responsibility of being the one that's stronger than all of them, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that responsibility. I want that responsibility in my life. I want to feel like I was a hero to them in every way. And I don't think a man that cries in front of his family is not the hero. But ideally, I'm not going to be doing that.
Right. You know, it's weird. I've never actually seen my dad cry till this day. Like, not even once. The kids is looking to their father for that strength. And so if they're seeing their dad cry, right, I feel like that creates fear in the situation the kid has with their father. If you're...
All right, I agree. Men, do not cry in front of your kids. They are going to lose faith in your ability to deal with the issue. That's so true, man. Like, come on. If you really don't think that that's true, you really need to take a step back and look at it through your kid's point of view, because they're only experiencing the world for the first time, and that you are their guiding light throughout the world. So I'll give you an example. This is so funny. So my mom, at one point when I was a teenager, she was seeing this guy, a complete fucking loser. I'll tell you why. This guy, he was like a golf instructor or something, you know, he dressed like a dork, he wore jeans, you know, he tucked in his flannel shirt, just like a dork, nerd. There was a moment, I'll give you two examples from this guy. So there was a moment where I was playing around with my brother, and I called my brother a twat, because it was a new word for me, and I thought it was funny, it sounded funny, and it was just something we would say. So I called him a twat, we were laughing, joking around. He has the audacity to bring me into the other room. My mom's boyfriend at the time brings me into the other room. He says, he points at my head like this. I don't want you using that language to your brother. I'm like, what? He says, that's completely rude. I don't want you to say that to your brother anymore. And I'm like, who are you? Like, you just got here, bitch. This is, I didn't say bitch, but I'm like, hey, listen, I'm going to play with my brother how I want to play with my brother. We talk like this to each other. Like, we're tough on each other. Stop. Leave me alone. Piss off. But he didn't like that very much. I told my mom about that. My mom looked at me like, really? He said that? Don't say that to your brother? I'm like, yeah. But there was another situation where my mom and him, they were play fighting, right? And I'm like, oh, this is sweet. Haha. They like each other, whatever. And my mom accidentally elbowed him in the eye. Whoopsie, you know? This guy starts sobbing uncontrollably. Like, uncontrollably sobbing, like crying, like my mom looks at me. This is how I knew it was over. My mom looked at me and her eyebrows and eyes raised like this, and I looked at my mom like, you reap what you sow, man. This is your problem. Good luck. Get out of it. But this guy ended up becoming like a crazy weird stalker after my mom dumped his dumb ass, because he's just a pussy, like a fucking pussy. Don't cry. Don't cry in front of your woman. Don't cry in front of your kids. Don't cry ever. If you're gonna cry to your dad or your uncle, someone that you can actually trust and know that they're not gonna tell anybody you cried. Don't cry.
Crying in front of your kids, it's the same thing as crying in front of your girl. It's a bad representation of what you're supposed to be in that situation for them.
Now I'll tell you when I do cry. Bro, when you see like one of those kids with Down syndrome get put in a high school basketball game, he starts nailing threes and the gym goes crazy, bro, I'll be crying my ass off. I'm so happy for the kids.
Cry for happy things.
It's like happy, I'm like laughing, I'm like, you know, but other than that, man, no, not at all. Calm the heat.
Can the person who like has kids?
I was gonna, but look, I have a father who I've never seen cry, so I get that. I was that man. Again, you have to understand my kids. My middle daughter, who I'm going to talk about, is 26 years old. Now, for some reason, out of all three of my children, that middle girl, from the time she turned 13 to 17, 18, we just butted heads, right?
You cried
and
in front of her?
the relationship wasn't going to where it should be going, and I want to be close to my kids. We sat down. She was about 20, maybe 19, 20 years old. We had a heart-to-heart about our feelings and how we really felt about each other, and I cried. And 6 years later, some years later, better relationship than we've ever had because she saw a human part of me and not just me trying to be what you guys are talking about, which is a good thing too. You can count, my wife can count on one hand how many times she's seen me cry. I think my son had and my other daughter haven't. But I'm going to tell you.
Hold on. You're connecting with your daughter on an emotional level. And it's only because you guys were not having the relationship that you hoped for. And you had to connect with her on that emotional level in order for her to connect with you. Whether or not you truly wanted to manipulate that situation, you did it to a T. You shouldn't cry in front of your son. That's a wholeheartedly honest opinion of mine. Crying to your daughter, I don't think has the same repercussions as if you were to cry to your son. And by this time, your daughter was already a grown woman. She was already older. Do I think that you should cry in front of your kids when they're young? Absolutely not. And I don't even think you should really cry at all to them, no matter what the age. But that was literally the only option for you in order for you to connect with her. You guys let me know. What do you think down in the comments?
You for that enriching moment, and that's again just coming with years of having those tears with her and talking about how important it was that our relationship worked, and then hearing her come back and saying she felt the same way and breaking through that. I'm the father, I'm going to be the strong one, made her break down and both of us be closer than we ever had been.
Can I ask you a question about that? Do you think that if you could have set her down earlier than the age that you did and just had a vulnerable conversation that maybe it could have happened, like it wouldn't have had to build all the way up to tears?
No.
She wouldn't have been able to hear it, or?
No, because what was going on from my understanding of our relationship is that, young people, I'm very independent, my children are very independent. They don't want to be controlled in a certain way. And as a father, you still have to keep that control. She was only seeing that side. So she was only seeing this domineering person trying to squish what she thought that she wanted to be or who she wanted to be. And that wasn't it. I was just trying to play the father role. I saw my dad do it. Never a tear. He's that man, and I was raised by that man, and I took that on. I remember sitting my son down and telling him, boys don't cry. And I still to this day regret that. And I still talk to him. He's 24. I still talk to him about I was wrong. Because I do not think that's the way we're supposed to live our lives. And I think that's why you go back to the statistic of how a lot of men are depressed. We're supposed to have emotions. We're human. Now, I don't believe every time you turn around, you should be in front of your children, ooh, and your wife, I think that's a drastic thing. But I know dropping a tear as a father for me made a relationship so much closer and so much better than it would. I'm telling you, I know than it would have ever been.
That's for you,
think
though.
You could have shown that vulnerability without a tear?
No.
My dad was capable of expressing emotion, not from the standpoint of being a whiny little baby. He held it down on my family. My parents are the happiest couple I've ever seen, still to this.
I'm gonna attack this a little bit. I had a moment. This was with my stepfather, who, I always talk about being a huge cunt. Yeah, there was this moment. I don't even know the reason of why this happened, but I remember being in bed, and I think that my mom and him got into an argument. I was probably younger than 8. And he came over to me and he kneeled over me when I'm laying in bed and he was talking to me. I don't remember what he said. I could see the tears streaming from his face. And I don't know why he did that. And I don't know what the reason was. I'm pretty sure it was because they got into a huge fight. And I don't know what it was about. I swear to God, I think that guy was hugely bipolar. He was, an incredibly aggressive human being. He didn't know how to interact with people. He used humor to manipulate. He was a bad dude. Didn't really do right by his family. I don't know. I from what I remember, I just remember him being a dickhead to me. So maybe it was about that. Yeah, no, I don't really have a respect for that guy. And not because he cried. It was mostly just because of everything else that happened. If I could truly remember what that guy said when he was crying to me, maybe I'd have a different opinion. But everything that happened before or since then made me believe that he was just such a dickhead, manipulative fucker. I don't know why I brought that up, but thought it would kind of relate to this point.
But my dad was able to, and still is able to, at funerals, be able to show emotion.
Oh, I'm bad at that.
When he feels the emotion, be able to show up and do that.
Oh, movies.
I'd never see him whining about, what you guys are saying, whining about just issues happening in his life, at work and what he's doing. Never. He deals with that on his own. But he is showing up vulnerably when he is experiencing an emotion, not from a whiny baby place, but from a freeness that he has with it. And I even think, when I first went off to college, he's tearing up too.
So I would just like to say, this is a field I specialize in. I'm a program manager for a nonprofit that focuses on mental health.
Nonprofit.
And a lot of the times what we get in our clients are men that are coming in dealing with childhood trauma, these expectations and standards of trying to live up to the quote unquote masculine ideal.
No, glad you're helping out, buddy.
We have men coming in because they're still trying to seek approval in their 30s, or they're still trying to get that male validation, in their 40s. And it goes back to making sure we understand the difference between regulating your emotions and suppressing them. I think that's why I said earlier, like, to be an alpha, you have to be balanced. You guys can be emotional as well. You guys can be vulnerable. It doesn't make you less than. Just like a woman being more assertive doesn't make her less than a woman. If you feel like you don't want to promote being emotional in front of your kids, I've asked the question, does that kind of fall into toxic masculinity?
Oh, shut the fuck up. Enough with the toxic masculinity bullshit. Listen, if you feel like you need to cry, you need to exert yourself in some sort of physical way that is going to make you try and avoid those feelings. As a man, this is important. This is like why I always talk about going to the gym. If you need to fight, go to a trainer, right? Go to the gym, start throwing punches. You need something in your life that's going to help you, like he said, balance and regulate that, because you don't want to be overly emotional. The best way to combat that emotional feeling is to just not ignore it, but deal with it through physical exertion. Nobody talks about that. I don't know why. It's proven to work.
Well, first, I didn't say anything about...
Sorry. Also, you need to have friends. You need to have guys, dudes that you can relate to in some way, some sort of manner that is going to keep you accountable. Because if you can combat ideas with your boys, right, and you can reassure, so you can be reassured by your boys, like, hey man, everything's gonna be all right. That's important. You need a community, and you need to physically alter your body. You'll feel so fantastic. You have no idea.
Being vulnerable. Vulnerable is the word that I brought up. So I think being vulnerable is very important. I think physically crying in front of your kids is not ideal. This is not about an ego stroke or trying to be overly masculine. I think being vulnerable as a man is one of the strongest things a man can actually do. It's just that I don't think that crying, particularly sobbing, is going to be very healthy as the leader and the person that they're supposed to come to for that safety and that care.
But isn't real vulnerability then you're just not being honest, but like, yo, babe, sorry, I had this thing. I left and I cried, but now I'm here to be strong with you. That's real vulnerability.
I can't think of a scenario where I'd leave to cry.
Yeah, why?
But needing feels performative. I'm trying to show you how vulnerable I am.
That's manipulative, man.
Showing.
I think you can be very vulnerable without crying.
Yeah, absolutely.
People just express their sadness in different ways.
You can be, but I heard what you guys were saying earlier, and I agree with that. It's like, you don't want to be a crybaby about things. We don't, right? But it's like to be at, for instance, if I'm at a funeral and this person meant something to tell me, no, can't do that, or I see something on television or a movie that moves me, like, you can't do that. It's like kind of like a very weird thing, and I think you guys touched upon that.
There's just like a weird stigma behind like crying, because it seems like we keep associating crying with weakness. And the issue is that, like, again, there is a big difference between crying and sobbing. Yeah. So hysterically sobbing, like, I think that should only do if you, like, say you lost a loved one, like, really close to you, like say like your significant other, say like horrible accident, like stuff like that. Like, there are obviously scenarios for that. For like regular crying, again, kind of like we all touched upon that.
It's funny how we're trying to come up with scenarios where we think that sobbing or crying are appropriate. Like you said, everyone experiences sadness in different ways. Physically crying when you are sad is a mode of weakness. And I do genuinely believe that. I don't think it's necessary to shed those tears by giving scenarios to where you think that you should be allowed to shed those tears. Aren't they crocodile tears anyway? Couldn't they be avoided if you're wholeheartedly prepared to cry in those circumstances? Like, even when in funerals, right? The person died. Yeah, oh man, that's sad. Shit, I'm not gonna see them anymore. But I don't know, I don't feel like crying is a mode that needs to be associated with sadness. I've been in a position, like, I've talked about crying for movies. Certain movies have made me cry, and I'm like, oh fuck, man, I can't even, like, why am I crying like this? I've had moments where I see happy moments in movies, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm like, what's going on right now? And I start to like tear up, and I'm like, what the hell? But it's because I'm experiencing this moment of happiness that is just so overwhelming. I'm like, oh shit, your body just does weird things. But no, I think that crying is a mode to weakness, and I feel like you should be very selective of where you cry and who you cry to. But yeah, man, there's some times where you just can't ignore it, and, like, maybe you just have to, like, take a moment and just be like, oh God, that was rough. Who knows?
We're not saying that you have to cry every other day, but, like, there are like cases where it's okay. It should be okay.
As kids, we look up to our dads to be able to. How do we react to certain scenarios? Do you feel that like okay,
He's
like
wearing a
for
dress.
instance, like my dad didn't cry. I don't think I've ever seen my dad cry. I've seen very bad, like sad scenarios, straight face, and I feel like I developed that as like a kid. Like as I got older, like I have to keep this inside because that's exactly just how I saw my dad do it. How would you basically like explain to your kids how they feel like they should let out their sadness? Should they keep, especially if you feel like you're not really expressing sad emotions in front of them?
I think probably the best thing I can do is like explain to you what my goal as a father is to explain them the truth of the world. Truly, hey, this is the truth of the world. This is how the world is. Here's some competencies and things you can do to set yourself up, because my ultimate goal for my children is to have choice. So I can have a son, he could be gay, he could cry. He could be straight, he could cry. Like I could have daughters that were dominant masculine. I don't care as long as they have choice. I personally, my preference and what I aspire to be and what I want to be and what I get to be is that strong man for my family.
We all kind of believe that like we have to be a hero for our kids, right? Especially when they're super young. And honestly, I agree. I think it's totally like you need to be a role model for your kids, and you need to be a safe space, which I completely agree with. But things happen as they grow up, you know what I mean? Especially when they go towards their teen years, when they start being more in touch with their emotions, when they're actually like feeling a lot of different things and feeling the pressure of society and everything that's collapsing around them. Sometimes they don't just need like a hero, they need a father to like commune with, to like actually talk with.
No, that's true. That's true. Hold on. No, that's so true. But like, you're leaving it up to the kid to experience that, right? Yeah, they need someone that they can talk with. Absolutely. They're going to have those moments where they're going to be so overwhelmed and they're going to start crying, and you have to act. If you feel like you need to be part of that situation, which I think you should be able to sit down with your kids and express to them, hey, it's fine. It's okay. You're going to go through these hurdles. Do I think that you should be crying? No, but you are, and that's fine. But you need to understand that this is going to happen again. You're going to get a lot of scars, my son or my daughter, but you need to know that this is not the end, and you're going to be much stronger after it. I think that is more important than having your parent crying with you. There's no sense in it. It's like, why? You're going through this situation. You need a rock. You need someone who's going to get you out of it, not someone that's going to experience it with you and go down to your level. But anyway, guys, we skipped through a lot of that video. I really didn't think that we had to listen to everyone's point of view on the matter, because we understand the people that I resonated with. I actually am a big fan of Jay Waller. I think that he's a very like intellectual, smart guy, and I think he has a lot of good things to say, and his point of views are fantastic, and everything is related around choice. The ability to have a choice is the biggest superpower in this world, and you need a lot of things in order to get that choice. Guys, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming back. This was an interesting video today. Make sure you like and subscribe. All right, and put down in the comments whether you think the points that I made were genuine or not. All right, I appreciate you. TOSKinger out.